Hey metalheads, welcome to another episode, Metal Academics. Who's the band?
Judicator from the United States.
Judicator. Don't know them, but it sounds like a Judas Priest song. Nightcrawler, Painkiller.
Judicator. I actually wondered what it really means. Couldn't find out exactly the meaning of the name, or where it comes from. So if you guys know, let us know in the comments already.
I mean, clearly it's like, some sort of judgment.
Sounds like it, but
judge.
I have no reference to this. Maybe it's like a computer game thing. I don't know, but if you know, let us know. I have a lot of things to say about this band, so I'm going to try to speak very fast so it doesn't become a very long episode. No, not really. This band is the exception, namely a power metal band from the United States. We've featured another band that was similar to this a little bit earlier on. Do you remember the name of that band?
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue, the Warrior Queen.
Yeah? Well, I'll spare you the effort. Visigoth.
Visigoth, that's it.
Visigoth is based in Utah, Salt Lake City Steel, as they say about themselves. And Judicator comes from the neighboring Arizona. Actually, I think that the lead singer of Judicator lives in Utah himself. Correct me if I'm wrong. In any case, they are kind of neighbors and they played together at some concerts in that region. So maybe power metal comes from Western United States these days, if we have to look at North American
Seems
sources.
like it.
So it's a rarity, Judicator, because it's an American band that does play a combination of heavy and power metal. And it's quite unique in that it is combining various musical influences in one. And most famously, they bring in a lot of Blind Guardian tropes into their songs. And in particular, the lead singer's vocals are very similar to Hansi Krupsch's original vocals, are quite a close coming second. And actually, the two founding members of Judicator met at a Blind Guardian concert back in the day. Tony Cordisco on guitars and John Yelland on as a lead singer. So these two guys love Blind Guardian and their love shows. But it's not just like a Blind Guardian tribute band, right? They have a lot of very fun influences. I think you can hear Iced Earth in that more thrashy, powerful, less synth, definitely, only occasionally, Euro power metal, right? So more meat on the bones, if you wish, of the drums and of the bass, and quite fast riffs. So it's a combination, something unique. And on top of everything, we have heavily inspired historical themes. If again, I'm not mistaken, Tony is a teacher of history, and John is a big fan of history and also into literature, has studied literature, and so their texts are really historically accurate. I think in one interview they say if a history teacher would check the accuracy of the lyrics, they will not be disappointed. So you get that kind of that idea. So it's history with power metal American style. That's how I would sum it up.
Cool, I'm curious.
Yes, I think you would personally like it because if we are to make a reference beyond the obvious, it reminds me, I'm curious if it reminds you, of Steel Attack.
Ooh.
Yes, I said those words. So
Strong words.
I invite you then to jump on the first song. And the first song, I'm not going to play that in chronological order. The band has released 5 albums so far, and the themes are mixed. But I don't start with what would come chronologically first, but I invite you to listen to a song from their 2018 album, which is called The Lost Emperor, and the song is called Raining Gold. It's one of the, I think it's the second song on this album that tells the story of the first Crusades.
Oh, yes. Love the album cover.
Yes, they're awesome. So, Raining Gold from 2018, The Last Emperor. You gotta love this.
Yeah.
I love every single note in this
Definitely
song.
my speed.
So awesome. Anyway, first impressions.
Yeah, so yeah, I like it. I think that there's a couple thoughts. One is that I think it does have the steel attack elements with the great guitar work, but also that the vocals, they do take a front part in some parts of the song, but I think in general, the vocals are, in a sense, another instrument.
Yeah.
Right? They're not super featured. It's really the guitars and the rhythm that is highlighted. So that's one thing I would say. And the second thing is that I could tell already this is a band that I would like to see live. Like this is the music. I don't like to necessarily. There's a lot of bands that I listen to, but I wouldn't be excited to see live. Or like this would be a perfect fit for the type of music that I would want to hear. You know, with the speakers in your face, just blast.
They play slightly smaller venues, these kind of arenas, right? So it's very cool. Again, I have lots of little fun facts. One very amazing for me fun fact about The Last Emperor is that this has not been produced by a major label. This is independently produced. This is an actual real indie album. Isn't that amazing? That it's possible to make amazing music, high quality sound, excellent songwriting, everything is perfect, I think, about this album, and not be committed to a record label. Non-commercial, non-deadline focused, non-pleasing the producers. I love it. And in interviews, John was saying that this was possible because of podcasts, because of support from fans, because of being featured in various YouTube even environments or magazines, and because of fans. So I think this is really a great example. You can, escape that prison of producing pleasing music to make good music.
There is this pressure, right, to have some sort of Spotify hits or sales, and this doesn't appeal to the masses, so to say. Only us.
This is not a major. I think I wonder how many of you guys know it. I know Emerald Dawn suggested this band already back in the Visigoth episode days. So as always, Emerald Dawn on top of things. But I'm actually sincerely curious how many of you guys knew about Judicator before hearing it, maybe for the first time here.
Never come across it.
It's because I like Visigoth. It's through that connection, I think, that I discovered it, and I fell in love with it immediately. So, again, very good guitars. I think, to quote from another interview from Tony, the guitar main guitar guy, like death to riffless metal.
Death to false metal.
And I think it's like a metal, apropos earlier discussions on this channel, should have some solid riffs.
Obviously.
So I think they deliver on that front. So that was the Crusades and The Last Emperor. The story is great. This is a concept album. So if you listen sequentially, you hear the entire story about the Crusades, the fights, and a focus not on the Western Rome, but on Constantinopolis, the eastern capital of the Roman Empire.
Educational, love it.
Yeah. Well, I think you can learn quite a lot, and you actually understand what they say also, which is pretty cool. So Last Emperor was 2018. However, these historical thematics, even though it was present from the get-go, their first album, I think 2012, was called The King of Rome. That connecting with everything. But there was like a break into this historical theme, and that was the previous album, and I want to say this was 2015, and the name of the album and the name of the song we'll hear from the album is called At the Expense of Humanity. And this is a very existential album because it was inspired by the tragedy of John's brother losing his life to cancer. So this sounds like very tragic, but I think the beauty of the album is to take such a tragic personal event and to make it into a big, non-personal life
affirming.
I don't know. Life is a spectacle of life, basically. So the whole
spectacle of life.
Yeah, I'm very deep. And so are the lyrics. So I would recommend listening to this while paying attention to the lyrics. But obviously, the whole album is a concept album and really complex music. Probably their most complex rhythms, the quick changes in in pace, quick changes in the orchestration, very unusual compositions. Really, probably one of their most most out there records, but really fantastic. A great listen. Picking just one song again was hard, but perhaps this does justice to the whole album. So, At the Expense of Humanity.
just a corpse. Fall asleep, I'll meet you there. Burning the frame, slip your feet into the wire. Fall asleep, I'll meet you there. Burning the frame, leave your mortal shell behind.
Wow.
Yeah, it's powerful. It's
Cerebral.
Yeah,
I would say.
I read somewhere, I don't remember where, if it's a review or comment or something. This is the thinking man's power metal.
There you go. Cerebral. I have thoughts. I'm a thinking man.
Cerebral, yes.
Yeah. So first of all, love it. It has switches in all the right places, right? But you're led along, and I get what he was saying about riffless music, right? Death to riffless music.
Synth was in, but
was
so
in.
beautifully integrated,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it fits. I want to talk actually a lot about the album art.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what we're watching as you're also
Yeah,
watching as you
no
listen.
videos, yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool because lots of things to say. First, I think there's something when you nail the riffs and when you do it in this sort of power metal style. I think that's what I like about power metal is that you can actually enjoy it on the first time you listen because you're being led along and then you're being kind of entertained with the switches and then they grow on each other and they come back. Whereas like some of the other bands, thinking of like these like Stradivarius or Nightwish or something, like you have to. It's not good on a first listen because it's almost too complex and. Yeah, so that's one thing. This was very easy to listen to, but I'm also looking at this album art and thinking like, yeah, it nailed it. The album art really speaks to first of all, the blue,
Yeah.
right?
I forgot the name. I used to know the name of the designer. I forgot.
It has like this sort of Edward Munch
Yeah.
scream-ish.
Existentialism.
Funny, I wanted to grab my phone and look up one of my philosophy textbooks on existentialism had a cover in very much the same overall mood. So there is like
it spoke to me like when I thought of this album because I listened to all their albums and when I listened to this album the philosophy or the reference of this existentialism is about life. Doesn't mean it's a tragedy, a personal tragedy, but it's elevated at the tragedy of man. You know, I saw my brother die. You don't have to have a brother. You know, it can be your fellow man. It can be anyone who you see die. It's the same like pain.
Yeah, and you have this element of the tone of the colors, but then also there's this like kind of high tech vibe with the logo and the title, which kind of speaks to the synth and like retro 80s. So it's just like, yeah, nailed it. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it's awesome. I believe you really enjoy the entire album. It's well conceived as an album. As I said about some other bands before, I really enjoy when I do these reviews, I listen to the entire album in sequence. And some bands are better than others, in my opinion, at creating this wholesome listening experience. So definitely, this is it.
Also, there's something to be said for singing about the Crusades and taking it into an existential theme. I think that's cool.
They'll come back to the Crusades. I mean, not to the Crusades, but to the historical themes. So that leads me very nicely into the third song that I want to showcase for you guys. And that's coming from the latest album of 2020. Believe it or not, they had the guts to launch something in the middle of the pandemic. So yeah, kudos again to you guys. And this latest release is back to the historical themes. Now I even forgot which song I decided to feature because I really could not decide. I think I had almost an existential dread. Which one should I pick?
I have two here.
Let There Be Nothing is the name of the album. And I believe that in the end I went with Let There Be Nothing, which is the coda, like the last song on the album. However, you, in a sense, have to listen to the whole album to really get it because it's a direct reference to the very first song on the album, which is Let There Be Light.
Fiat Lux.
Exactly. Lots of references there. I don't want to go. I've been told I talk too much, so I'll try to keep it down. Read more about this if you're interested. I just wanted to say that this particular album has actually been produced by a record label. They've recently signed to Prosthetic Records, and so we have a lyrics video that accompany this song. I really think this song is fantastic compositionally, showcases exactly the type of things that we talked about before, and it's kind of the sum of a story of a general called Belisarius. Just so you understand a little bit the lyrics, Belisarius, he has a wife, Antonina, and a stepson. So Antonina's son that he adopted, and he is trying to get back from, it's also Eastern Roman Empire, so those battles. But yeah, I'll stop here and we'll listen, and then we can have a couple of final thoughts and comments at the end. So, Let There Be Nothing. Lyric video.
It's like Powerwolf.
Yeah, this is Belisarius. This is the general.
Let there be light, let there be nothing. The crown
Haha. Yes, it's a lot to take in, right? A bit longer song. Maybe one could have actually got rid of 1 second at the beginning and 1 second at the end, personally. But yeah, that's a question of taste.
Yeah, I'm sure it fits into the album
Yeah, exactly.
somehow.
There's a lot of cross references. That's what I mean. Like the story is complex, and they send you back. Who is Photius? You would have known if you listened to like song 2, and so on. So
I'm a big fan of like these. They're normally around 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking of Glory Hammer, and
Yeah.
they end their albums with those songs. Kind of ties everything together. So maybe not so. The first 3 or 4 minutes wasn't super into, but I get how it fits into the larger album.
the
And
riffs at I was checking the minutes at about 4:30.
yeah, really solid. You can tell it picks up, but it's in a sense it's not a song in itself, right?
Yeah, it's a summa cum laude. It's you have to hear the whole album, basically. I do think that this album is very good, but the previous album, The Last Emperor, is my favorite because it's a little bit tighter. This has a little bit extra seconds here and there, in my opinion, but it's not really a criticism. It's like being a little bit of a perfectionist.
Yeah, definitely a market in Sweden, power metal wise.
Yeah, I think that generally they should be heard more. One of the reasons why I really wanted to showcase these guys as soon as I got like the full album and everything, but again, I think they are not connected to many big record labels. They're not into this circuit of pushing things down.
Yeah, but I think
into
the market for this
consumption.
kind of music is over here in Europe, not so much in the.
Yeah, well,
the US.
Corona came in the way of things. I did not know what the kind of plans they had, but definitely
Interesting.
there's-
Good to know that my countrymen have such music.
Yes, they're great. I would love to be able to, if they don't come to Sweden, I would love to be able to go to the United States and hear them play live.
Hell yeah, in Arizona or something.
Yeah, Arizona, Colorado, Utah. That's where
Especially,
they seem to hang out.
Can think of some pretty cool venues. I'm thinking also of the Sword kind of tour in these smaller venues.
Smaller venues, you get more close. You get closer to the people.
Which works.
and-
This is not like huge arena music, right? You don't want to hear this in a Superdome or something.
No, exactly. I wouldn't want it, even if it would be on offer. So hopefully one day we'll get to hear Judicator play live.
Yeah, I would definitely put them on the top sort of to see live bands.
Yeah.
So that's
And
kind of
again,
music.
if anyone loves it, think about supporting the bands. It's kind of an up and coming, an independent label by buying stuff from them and subscribing to their Bandcamp, whatever means necessary, because I think they're really, really worthy of appreciation, simply. But let us know in the comments if you think otherwise. I'm open to criticism. And if you knew about the band before, if you were among the privileged few to see them play live, and any suggestions for further music reviews.
Absolutely. But in the meantime,
May your sword stay sharp.
in your quests and in glory.